Officially welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. Welcome to Georgia and Sally Ann. It's your first kind of official. You did the masterclass with an introduction. It's your first kind of member session. So hope you enjoy it. So I think to start with, let's do a meditation on today's workbook lesson 94. Guide you through a 20-minute meditation on that, just to get us into a nice space, and then we'll read the text, read and discuss and translate the text into alternative non-Christian language. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, back straight, up your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And maybe you clench your sphincter muscle a little bit, just to lock the energy in. Feel like you drawing the energy up your spine, into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. Bring your attention into the present moment, fully. Breathe in again, so breathe this lovely, warm, flowing energy into your heart center. Draw it up the spine into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So just check in and scan your mind, noticing any thoughts, any emotions, any sensations in the body connected to the thoughts and emotions. And if there's anything that doesn't feel right, feels a little bit negative, contracted, constricted, limiting, just notice that and breathe into it. Nice deep breath in, you create some space, you can visualize light if that works for you. Light is flowing into every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light. And you breathe that light in, feel a sense of lightness. It's dissipating any of those dark thoughts. Remind yourself that I am as God created me. Or if you prefer our translated language, I am as perfect love extended me. I am God's son, or love's extension eternally. And just breathe in on the truth of that. And this is the ultimate truth of who you are. There's nothing else, really. This is the one idea, says Yeshua, which brings complete salvation. The one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless. The one thought which renders the ego, the belief in separation, silent and entirely undone. You are as God or love created you. So accept it now. Breathe it in to every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's in the light. In this light, the sounds of this world are still. The sights of the world disappear. And all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. So exhale. Have a sense of just blowing any of these thoughts away, just erasing them. This one idea just cleans the slate of your mind. and you go into the true awareness, which is the light that you are. The awareness of perfect love, deep presence, love, which is your source. Here is salvation accomplished, says Yeshua. Here is awakening accomplished. Here is sanity restored. Not sometime in the future or the past, right now, in this very moment. You feel awakening into love happening. Just go within and allow yourself to be awakened by this very deep, loving presence in your mind. It's always been there, but it's too often obscured by our monkey minds, just thinking about past and future, thinking about all kinds of things in this world, worldly things, and not about the love of God. And the perfection that you are. If you are as God created you, you are as love extended you. And love is perfect. This is perfect love, perfect unconditional presence and love. Then you must be perfect too. You must be like what extended you, created you. Truth, it didn't really create you because you've always been that. There's no time when you've not been that. The idea of time and space, which you have to work through and live through, is an ego idea. Belief in separation, believes in time and space unquestioningly. It has to in order to maintain its belief. Whereas true light, a light of perfect love that this lesson points to, is strength. So breathe in this light to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. Feel the strength as you say this to yourself. You breathe it in. It helps you imagine golden or white light flowing into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light. And if you remain as God or love created you, or as perfect love extended you, and you must be strong, and light or true awareness must be in you. Pure formless awareness of perfect love assured your sinlessness, and so must be the guarantee of strength and light or true awareness as well. You are as God created you. You are as pure formless awareness of perfect love extended you. Unlimited awareness cannot obscure magnificence of perfect love's extension, which is you. So feel that strength flowing into you. Imagine light flowing in, if that helps you, into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body. It's not limited to the body, it's every part of your mind, it's all encompassing. This is the light of your true awareness. And limited awareness cannot obscure the magnificence of you. So just let this light shine and shine through you. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just stand in light, sink into the light, immerse yourself in it, let it envelop you, encompass you. Stand in this light, you stand in true awareness. Strong in the sinlessness in which you were extended and in which you will remain throughout eternity. So have a sense of this eternal presence within you, beckoning you, calling you in to go deeper into the light. To surrender to the light. Allow it to encompass you and envelop you. Try to reach the Son of God, or the extension of perfect love in you. This is the self that never sinned, nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self that never left its home in pure formless awareness, perfect love, to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self that knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss, or suffering, or death. Say to yourself, I am as God or love, perfect love, created me. So I am its extension eternally. Its conviction, meaning. These words are true. Feel the truth in them. Then open your mind to the reality beyond the words that they point to. Going deeply into this domain of the truth, perfect love. Say one more time, I am as perfect love, created me or extended me. I am its extension, eternally. And rest in that peace, a deep peace of the present moment, the eternal now moment, the light. Just rest in this presence for a couple of minutes of deep silence. any thoughts come in to seemingly disturb this deep peace, just observe them casually. Imagine they're like clouds just drifting by. They have no power to obscure the eternal light, your source. So just exhale, blow them away with the breeze of your breath. Store your mind to this blue sky, which is your true awareness. It's light and clear. The light of your source shines through it. And it streams through your awareness. Say one more time, I am as God created me, or I am as love extended me. I'm an extension of these great rays of light. This is what I am. I feel it. I feel it now deeply, the very core of my being. And just surrender to that feeling, that knowing. Another couple of minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back in this very deep state of awareness, and bringing your mind back into the body and into the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. As the light has come, you have recognized that you are as God created you. You are as this perfect, eternal loving presence. Whatever else you believe means nothing. This is the truth about you. Say one more time, I am as God created me, I am as perfect love extended me. I am its extension eternally. And exhale on the truth of that. Just letting go any resistance to that idea, blowing it away like a dark cloud, leaving you in the light. Notice the air flowing out, your mouth, the chest, and the stomach suck back in. Notice what you're feeling and touching. And there's a little taste in your mouth. Notice that. The weight of your body pressing down to the chair, to the sofa, feet touching the ground. Breathing in again, notice any smell in your nose, any taste in your mouth, and notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment. Without any judgment or expectations, whatever your sense perceptions are, cannot disturb your peace. Remain in a state of deep awareness, connected to the true awareness in your mind. That is not disturbed by appearances and sense perceptions. That stays rooted in the knowledge that this awareness is the extension of perfect love. You are the extension of pure, formless awareness. And nothing else. So accept that once more in your mind and your heart. And on the count of 3, you can open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room. Very casual, detached way. Let your eyes rest for a few seconds on anything, then move on to something else. And if you're not naming these things and judging them and labeling them, you notice that the awareness that underlies your perception is the same. There's no difference in what you see or what you hear. So you're training your mind to value only this deeper awareness. This is the awareness that underlies all sense perceptions. This is the awareness that Yeshua is referring to in today's lesson. Perfect love of pure formless awareness. Pure formless awareness of perfect love, whichever you want to say it. That's the awareness that we are, in truth. So I hope this meditation has helped you to experience that, connect with that quite deeply. Just stay connected to it for the rest of the session. by keeping some attention on your breath as we go along. Just keep some attention on this deeper awareness as we engage with this material from the text. Okay, so everyone still with me? I'm still awake.
Hey.
And Georgia and are they still in meditation? There we go. See some.
We're here.
All right. So welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. So this we'll go into the text reading. So we're going to read section 8 of chapter 12 if you want to follow on in your books. But I'm going to show it to you on the screen, so you don't have to do that, only if you want to. And what we do, Salian and Georgia, is just read the original that's in black to start with, and then read the alternative, and we just do a little translation. So some of these terms like Son of God and Himself and Father and Son, these are terms we just change the language for, and that you'll find will give you maybe a different perspective and insight into the words and what is Yeshua is actually saying. So let's ask Iona to kick it off. So give you a little taste of how it goes, because she's been doing this for a while. So read the main one, and then go into the translation. Second reading. There's only 8 paragraphs. It's not too bad.
Yeah,
Yesterday we had a 15 paragraph monster. So we'll be a bit quicker than yesterday.
Do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? The Father has hidden his Son safely within himself and kept him far away from your destructive thoughts. But you know neither the Father nor the Son because of them. You attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute. And yet you are surprised that you cannot see it. If you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it. But if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Offer it and it will come to you because it is drawn to itself. But offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. Alternatively, do you really believe that you can kill the extension of pure formless awareness?
So Salian and Georgia, we translate as extension. And God is pure formless awareness or perfect love or combination. Pure formless awareness of perfect love in fullness, but that doesn't really work there. So we'll just go with pure formless awareness. Which, if you put it in those terms, well, yeah, obviously, how can you kill pure formless awareness? It simply is. It's awareness. There's no way you can destroy that.
The source has hidden its extension safely within itself and kept him far away from your destructive thoughts.
Yeah. We're answering just the source, or should we say the source of pure formless awareness? This source, kill extension, pure formless awareness. This source?
This source is good.
Maybe the source.
Has hidden its extension.
You're referring to pure formless awareness as the source. Has hidden its extension safely
within itself. And kept him, it, him, her.
Yeah. This is always these pronouns. So its extension.
In Finnish, they have no male and female pronouns, only hen. So it'd be quite funny if we kept
Translated into Finnish.
Yes, kept hen far away from your destructive thoughts.
Yeah.
You're going for he.
So what he does is he referring to the son, but then he takes it down into the personal and says, okay, well, this is a him or a her. The Son of God is, identified with someone who thinks she or she's in a body.
Yeah.
I think in the past we've actually done an it there. I don't know. And kept it far away from your destructive thoughts. Hidden its extension.
That would be right. It referred to pure formless awareness as it, so its extension is pure formless awareness. Therefore, it's an it.
But then he's referring. He's trying to connect us with the human aspect by the him and the her. So kept it far away. But I think it's hidden its extension safely within itself, and kept it far away from your destructive thoughts. He is referring to capital E extension, isn't he? I think it kind of works there. Should we go with it?
Yes, good. And neither its source nor the extension because of them.
Neither the source nor its extension because of them.
You attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute, and yet you are surprised when you cannot see it. If you seek love in order to attack it, you will never find it. For if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Offer it and it will come to you because it is drawn to itself. But offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's really saying, well, there's no wonder you don't believe in love in the real world, because I'm attacking it. And of course it's going to stay, because I'm not willing to understand, receive, be humble. It's, if I attack it, of course it's going to stay hidden. But if I offer only peace and surrender, then it will come to me. Because I waken up and love is drawn to itself. My recognition of pure formless awareness in me draws love to me.
Yeah, well stated. As you give it, you receive it. Another way of saying it.
That's short. Yeah.
As I give, I receive. And do you really believe that you can kill this? Should we change kill to destroy? I don't know. What do you think? Kill.
You really
Kill's kind of, maybe it's, as you put it, he's used it for dramatic effect. You really believe you can kill?
Yeah, I think kill is fine. Yeah, I think that's okay.
You really think you can kill the extension of pure formless awareness? When you state it in these terms, it's ridiculous. How can you kill pure formless awareness? It just is.
It just is. It's
So
formless.
it's beyond any thought of death. It's just a delusion. The idea of death and killing and attacking is really of no consequence. This awareness continues. Whether you accept it, whether you're in that awareness or not, the awareness continues. This is what he's trying to teach us.
Yeah. But this
So,
formlessness,
it just becomes like, okay.
the formlessness can drive the ego crazy. You know, the ego knows it's there and it's trying to kill it, exterminate it, but it's ever present.
Yeah, it can't.
It cannot.
The ego hasn't managed to kill off the spirit in all of its trying of many, however many billions of years this dream's been going. It can't kill it off. So it doesn't matter what happens on the level of form. The bodies die all the time, but the presence remains. So it's just asking us to connect with it. So you are that extension.
Yeah.
And it's kept it far away from your destructive thoughts. But you know neither the source nor its extension because of them. So the destructive thoughts cover over this loving extension, and you then can't perceive it. You're saying you attack the real world. Do you understand what he means by that?
I attack love. I attack pure formless awareness.
Attack the real world. So the real world is the reinterpreted world, the world that you see through the eyes of love. So you attack it every day and every hour and every minute by the way we perceive it, by our thoughts and our perceptions. So we're not seeing this real world. We're not seeing this world that where only love exists.
Yeah.
And it's true. And we attack it every day through our misperceptions, so our grievances and our idle wishes and so on are attacks on this real world. And you're surprised that you cannot. Do you want to change that? Surprised that you cannot see it,
Perceive it.
Perceive. Yeah, or maybe you cannot perceive it. Seek love in order to attack it, you'll never find it. Yeah, well, obviously. But if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Also, perfectly logical. Offer it and it will come to you because it's drawn to itself. So you must give it in order to have it.
Yeah.
And offer attack and love will remain hidden, for it can live only in peace. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy with that? Let's ask Georgia and Salian. Any questions on that?
No, fine, thank you.
Okay. So I'll ask one of you to read number 2. It's a pretty short one, and then we'll go into translation of it. So read the original first.
I don't have my glasses on, the right ones, and I'm on my phone. Hold on. So looks like I'm learning to read. God's Son is this. Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son is as safe as his father, for the Son knows his Father's protection and cannot fear. His Father holds him in perfect peace, and needing nothing, he asks for nothing. Yet he is far from you, whose self he is. Let you choose to attack, for you choose to attack him. He disappeared from your sight into his Father. He did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not created by the Father and could not live in the knowledge of him. Is that right?
Yeah. So that's needs a bit of translation. So what we do is change the God, Son, Father, etc. to alternative terms, and then you read it. Actually, we never read that through, so we'll come back to that. I think we must read number 1 through again, just make sure we're okay with that. Let's translate it and read it through from the top. So God's Son is we call God is perfect love, or pure formless awareness of perfect love, actually in full, but that's a bit clumsy if we put it into possessive like this. So we say perfect loves. So perfect love's extension, and the Son is extension. So Father is source. I'll let you have a go at this, Georgia. So God is perfect love, Son is extension, Father is source, and that should be enough for you to translate that paragraph. Do you want to have a go?
I'm going to have to get my other glasses. I'm sorry, I can't.
Can't read it.
Well, these are my old glasses, and it's such tiny text because I'm on my iPhone.
On your phone.
Perfect
You
love
can have you
success
got a course book?
is as safe
Have you got a book
as.
somewhere?
I'll have to set up my laptop to. It'll take too long, I think, to do it. Perfect love's extension is as safe as his
Remember what Father is?
perfect love.
As we'll call Father source, as it's
Of the source for the
really what. And it's instead of his, it's its. As its. Safe as its source. Yeah. Do we make that small or little? It's interesting because it's a capital E, isn't it? So you should really, to be consistent, capitalize this as well. Its source. Yeah, rather than for the
perfect love's extension knows his
extension,
protection, knows its source, protection, and cannot fear. Its source is love, holds him in perfect peace, and he asks for nothing, needing nothing, and he asks for nothing.
Source is love, holds it in perfect peace.
Holds it in perfect peace. Needing nothing, it asks for nothing. Yet it is far from you.
So I'm wondering. Well, let's read it through. We'll finish. We'll read it through. See how it reads. It asks for nothing.
Yet it asks. It is far from you. Whose love is.
Whose self
is for you.
You choose to
attack it, and it disappeared from your sight into his source. I'm not sure that's making sense. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll read it. We'll read it through once we've done it. It makes more sense if you read it in a...
its source. It did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not created by the source and could not live in the knowledge of it.
So what we often do is created becomes extended.
Extended by the source.
Yeah. Because nothing was really created, it's always been. Eternal means always been, not there was a time when it was created. Created implies at some point it wasn't. So we use extended by the source. So you're just the extension of this source of love or pure formless awareness. And that's been forever. That's eternal. It's never changed. And could not live in the knowledge of
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so let's read it from the top just to make sure it kind of makes sense. Always good to do that.
I don't know, my eyes can cope. Okay. Perfect love's extension is as safe as its source, for the extension knows its source's protection and cannot fear. Its source's love holds it in perfect peace, and needing nothing, it asks for nothing. Yet it is far from you whose self it is, for you choose to attack it, and it disappeared from your sight into its source. It did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not extended by the source and could not live in the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that? What I generally ask you to do is just summarize it, your understanding of it, of that paragraph. What's he saying there?
So the sun, the extension, is as safe as the source itself, because the extension knows that it is protected, that there's no need to be afraid, because the love holds it in peace, and it needs nothing, and it asks for nothing. Yet it is, I don't know this, it's far from you whose self it is. Don't get that bit. So far from you whose self it is.
Yeah, do you know what he's referring to there?
Not sure. You choose.
This is the first one for you.
Yeah, this is. I've not even looked at this. I've never read Course in Miracles, so this is, in fact, a new language to me entirely. So it is far from you. Self, it is. It's not.
So it's the same as the capitalized self. It's the same as this higher self, but it is far from you whose self it is, for you chose to attack it. So it is the self.
Okay.
But we've chosen to attack it.
Yourself. We've chosen to attack ourselves.
Yeah, we've chosen to attack our higher self. You chose to attack it, and it disappeared from your sight into its source. So this extension is what we are. This extension of pure formless awareness, and we chose. This is actually our true self. This awareness is our self. Whose self it is, that's what he's referring to. The extension is the self, but you chose to attack it, and so therefore you deny it, and it
I
becomes
don't
far
understand
away.
why it was attacked. Why would I have chosen to attack it? I don't understand why I would have.
Well,
Self is for you.
because we wanted a separate identity. So in order to have a separate identity, you must deny oneness. It looks like we got power back, which is nice.
But no, we didn't choose a separate identity. We were set here. I wouldn't want to, I could quite happily not be here with a separate identity. So it's ego. It's about ego and higher being.
So ego is the idea of a separate self, separate identity, and this is the metaphysics of it. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this diagram because it might be quite useful.
I'm going to have to go and get my other glasses. I'm sorry.
You're going to give yourself a headache.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Do that. So the question is why? Why would we do that? Why would we attack ourselves? And the answer to that is, well, in order to have a separate self,
we're on the top, aren't they?
You must
on the
attack one.
Oh, there's some on the stairs, I think, Georgia. As I see some.
Oh yes, thank you.
Have you managed to find them, Georgia?
She's got to go to the car for them.
Oh wow, okay. So any thought, Sally-Ann, you're familiar with the course's teachings? You studied it a bit.
Yes, but we've not gone into it in this way of changing the script.
Changing the terminology.
Right,
it's not many people have, but okay, there we go. So your question, Georgia, was, well, why would we attack ourselves? And the answer to that
it's because we don't know that we're part of. We don't understand that we're connected. I get that now. So,
so the idea of separation is an attack on oneness. So the only oneness and separation contradict each other. In order to believe in separation, you must have attacked oneness. So that attack on oneness is attack on yourself, because this is what you are. This is your true self. But the idea of separation seems to split your mind into two. Now you have a true self which has been denied and attacked, and you have this ego, which is also called consciousness. We call it the belief in separation, because that's all it is. It's just a belief. It's been called Satan in the Christian teaching. There's many names for it, but it's a sense of a separate identity. And in order to have that, you must have attacked your one self to create this, because it's seemingly the opposite of God, love, oneness.
I mean,
so this is what he's referring to.
The books, but
it's just one day.
Yeah, we've probably through. Because I understand that we're separate. Well, look, no, I understand that we are together. We are one, all one. We're all connected. We're one energy, and we've. My interpretation, and I haven't read any of this at all, so this is a completely new teaching for me. But my understanding from what I've learned is that we're all one, and we're a spirit or a soul, and we come to this. I would say that I was sent. I wouldn't have said I requested to come, frankly. I'd be quite happy to be whizzing around up there, being one.
So who sent you then? Who sent you then?
Well, I guess the universe. I don't. That's the bit I don't understand, is why why we even have to be here, frankly. But we are, and we've come here to experience a life that, I mean, whether we've chosen it or not, I don't know.
We suppose we have chosen.
We've chosen it. So maybe we've chosen
this is
it.
the crux of the matter.
Pardon?
No one sent you anywhere. No one can send you anywhere. It's by your own decision that you go. You come here. So the essence of this teaching was your choice. You chose separation.
Yes, no, I accept that, because I did a preconception journey once, and I didn't really want to be here, but I don't know what the one thing I can't remember is why I agreed to come, but I did end up here. And then in the translation or the experience of being a fetus and then a child, where you can't communicate, you lose your connection to oneness, because you're unable to communicate clearly, because you don't have the tools to live in this earth plane. So you're learning a new life, and you're learning from experiences that you pick up with, what you hear, what you see, behavior, and then that's how you learn. And we learn our beliefs, and then some of them are pretty horrible. I appreciate that. So I guess that is an attack, but we interpret things based on our experiences, because we forget that we're connected, or that we are one. So we learn a new life, and we're fortunate enough, aren't we, that we're aware that we are one, and we're adapting to it, which I guess is what this teaching is about. But as I said, I've not come across this before. Well, I have heard of it, but I've never understood what it was. And so we're in the paradigm of learning. At least I am, and I speak for you because of learning to be compassionate and accepting, and to understand that our emotions are transient, they're not real, and that our experiences, we can trust, and what we feel and experience is not real, is it? I mean, I know I was explaining to you earlier about the alarm, and when I was explaining it to you, it seemed ridiculous that I was even upset about it. But at the time, it was real. But I was able to let go of it. But because that's our human experience, and we're kind of pushed into, and I absolutely get that we choose everything that happens to us is a choice by our belief or our energy, or
can send you here.
We've attracted it. We've attracted whatever it is to our life. So our life experience is totally our responsibility, and it's how we deal with it that makes it easier or not to be here. But
so what Yeshua say? I'll give you just a quick overview of this thought system, because as you say, it's something new to you. So the teaching is that there was this tiny mad idea of separation that came into perfect oneness. So before the idea of separation, just perfect oneness, pure formless awareness, God love, whatever you want to call it, perfect bliss, right? Nothing else going on.
Phenomenal.
And this tiny mad idea kind of pops into the mind, and the problem is we believe it. The mind goes, oh, that could be a nice idea. And why does it do that? Because it desires its own identity. Because I've only ever known oneness. To have my own identity could be kind of interesting. So this is why we wanted to believe in the idea. And that belief then takes us into this ego, just a belief in separation. Which seems okay at first. Okay, well, I have my own identity now. I'm not one with one perfect oneness. I'm not one with everyone and everything. I have my own identity. I can make up my own mind. This is kind of cool. I'm an individual. So we go down the ladder of separation, thought by thought, into a state of individuality now. Go, okay, well, I actually have my own identity. Well, that's interesting. But this is where it starts to get ugly, because individuality requires that you deny your source. You cannot be an individual and a separate self and be oneself. So oneness and separation contradict a fundamental contradiction, an irreconcilable split in the mind. So now the mind thinks that it's done this terrible thing, has actually destroyed oneness, which is why he says you've attacked yourself. We've actually attacked this in our mind, and we replaced it with another, a false self, a self-image that doesn't really exist. It's just made up. And now we experience guilt. The guilt is there because we feel like we've actually pulled it off, and we've actually destroyed everything that's good and pure and holy and true. We've destroyed God, love, or oneness, pure forms of awareness, however you want to frame it. We've destroyed this, wonderful presence, and now we're left with the false self. And this brings about a huge amount of guilt and the idea of sin, that we've actually done something wrong. None of which is true, of course, because you can't really sin against what's eternal. It's just not true. None of this. Once you go into the thought of separation, none of it's true. But the problem is we believe it's true. So because our minds have power, our beliefs have power, we now project this out, and we create an illusion of a world. So from the guilt comes a fear, which is a false expectation of punishment appearing real. So we believe we're going to be punished by God. Generally, we project that out, and we say, well, now there's some force outside of us. We don't quite know what it is, but it's not a very benevolent one. It's going to punish us for our imagined sin. So sin demands a fearful, wrathful, vengeful God concept.
No, I don't. Okay.
And yeah. Are you following?
Well, I understand that if you were going, typical Christian religious, you were following a religious practice, because I have to say I do not go to church because I don't agree with that at all myself. I think, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think
but in your deeper mind, whether you're Christian or whatever, we all have a sense of I've done something wrong and I'm going to be punished. So there's this fear going on in our minds, and it comes from the idea of separation. And what Jesus is telling us is that none of it's true. So the moment you decide you believe in separation, you go into an illusion. None of this is true now, but you believe it to be true, and so it seems to have effects in your mind. If you fear and you have guilt and sin, and you believe in a fearful, wrathful, vengeful God, then what you're going to try and do is run away. And that's what we did. We tried to run as far away as we could. And we took our minds, we literally went out of our minds, and we invented a separate world where we could have bodies, and we could be far away from the mind that's going to kill us in our minds, and we come into this crazy place.
Okay,
we call
so
the universe.
Okay, right.
We incarnate in form because we're trying to run away from this imagined guilt and sin and fear.
Okay.
All of this is illusion. We've set it up in our minds, but we believe it. Our belief gives it power.
But this is before we become human. You're talking about this is in our consciousness before we become human, or is this as a human?
Well, all of this had to happen in order for the whole. We're talking about how this whole construct of time and space got set up, and
Right.
how we come to be here in the first place. And it goes way before human beings came about, or any forms in the universe, because we're just one of many forms. There's a whole sequence of thought that led us here. What led to the creation of the universe, the Big Bang? Well, scientists can't really explain. They say, well, this apparently happened. There's this massive explosion of energy from nothing, but they can't explain why. Well, this teaching explains why.
Okay.
It happened because of an idea of separation, and the consequences of that in our mind were so energetically horrific to us that our minds exploded outwards, and we invented time and space. We invented a physical universe as a
Okay,
result of the
okay, yes.
the intense guilt and the sin and the fear. All of that then got projected out of the mind and made up this seemingly external world, which then splits, just kept fragmenting, and now we have this incredibly fragmented world where everything seems to be separate and apart, and it's all based on a tiny mad idea of separation that entered the mind once upon a time, and that is what invented time and space. And now we incarnate as humans on a seeming planet somewhere sitting in the middle of a galaxy we call the Milky Way, and we wonder why the hell we're here. What is it all about?
Yes, I get
This
that.
is really the question. Why am I actually here? Why am I human? Why does the world exist? Why do I have a human life? Why do I have all these problems? And this is the ultimate question that spiritual teachers and philosophers have tried to answer. And in my view, this is the only teaching that really answers it in any kind of proper way that you can understand. So it gives us the way to unpick all of these beliefs and undo them all. And I haven't seen another teaching with an explanation that's as clear as this. It says, okay, well, what is the source of all of this? Where does all of this come? And then based on our understanding of this, we can now make different choices. We can make a different decision. We can choose to let go of all of this. We don't have to believe in the ego's story: guilt, sin, fear, attack, hatred, accusation, blame, attack. These are the kinds of things that populate our world, based on this idea that we're a separate self. We don't have to buy into that. We can reinterpret it. So from this place of oneness, we can now reinterpret whatever the ego is throwing at us. So we see the effects of guilt and sin and fear and attack and victimhood and sickness and limitation and lack and loneliness and suffering and death and the whole Pandora's box of the ego. But you don't have to believe in it, because ultimately it's your belief that gives it power.
Okay, yep, get that.
You can let it go, and you let it go in each situation. So you mentioned that situation that you had yesterday. Well, if you get upset, then what you really do is you buy into the dream. You're saying this is all real, because if it wasn't real, I wouldn't be upset about anything. You're saying that there's something that has the power to upset pure formless awareness. And so the correction lies in saying, no, I cannot actually be upset. I'm still pure formless awareness. I'm still that, and nothing that the ego has invented can actually disturb my peace. And so I let it go, and I find the awareness that underlies it. And that's what this whole teaching is based on. The metaphysics of this, and then the letting go or the forgiveness, are how you actually translate the metaphysics of this into practice in your daily life. You let go of any negative thoughts and emotion that seemingly this triggers, because all of this is really just a trigger for the negativity that the ego believes in. The guilt, the sin, the fear, the attack thoughts, all of this covers it over and just perpetuates it. So it's the veil of illusion that has been pulled over, covered over true reality, to show us something else and convince us that this other world now that we've invented is true, and this is not true. That actually this is nowhere, and we're never going to find it. And all we have now is our separate identity as a human being, living in this crazy world, and identifying ourselves as a helpless, enervated little life, which is the ego's story for us. And this course is just the unpicking of all of this. It's about unpacking it all and letting it all go. in the nothingness that it really is.
Okay. So.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
What are you
I need to
reading?
finish this translation then. So
just read it. I think read it from the top, and let's make sure it makes sense.
So perfect love's extension is as safe as its source, for the extension knows its source's protection and cannot fear. Its source's love holds it in perfect peace, and needing nothing, it asks for nothing. Yet it is far from you whose self it is, for you choose to attack it, and it disappeared from your sight into its source. It did not change, but you did, for a split mind and all its works were not extended by the source and could not live in the knowledge of it.
Okay, does that make sense? Just gonna, one moment, I'm just gonna go offline for a bit. I hope not. There we go, am I connected? Okay, yeah, that was very smooth. Sometimes it goes off, but it's like I'm connected to Wi-Fi now because we came back on. So if you look at this diagram, does it make any sense? So what he's saying here, if you reference it to the diagram, you can see what he's saying. Does it make sense?
Well,
He's saying a split mind. So a split mind and all its works were not extended by the source and could not live in the knowledge of it.
split mind and all its.
So if you refer to this split mind, this ego that split off, was not extended from the source. In other words, it's got nothing to do with this. Source is God or love or oneness or pure formless awareness. The split mind and all of its works, this entire cosmos, universe, is the work of the split mind, was not extended from the source. So what he's saying is none of this illusion has nothing to do with source. God didn't create the world. God didn't create the universe, and nothing to do with it at all. It's a split off from that, and the only way out of this nightmare is to let it go, because it's to recognize that it's not true. But none of this, none of the works of this ego, the split mind, are real. Only oneness is true, and that in every situation you can remind yourself of that and restore your mind to perfect oneness. And that's really, it's a very simple teaching. That's all Jesus is saying in this great work of A Course in Miracles. That there's one reality, and we need to return our mind to that, and let go of the false reality. You cannot have both in your mind simultaneously and be sane, because they contradict each other.
Yes.
Okay, good. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really the essence of the teaching, and then the rest is detail. Like if you get that, it's like, okay, well now it becomes application of this into my life. So remind myself when the ego is doing its thing and it's showing me all of this madness, that none of it's true, and that I'm still as God created me. As today's lesson says, I'm still as this God, love, oneness, pure formless awareness extended me, and nothing's really changed. My split mind and all of its works is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Actually, the only truth about me is that this awareness is my awareness. And if we can hold that awareness, no matter what, in this world, then we're called enlightened, because we're simply unfazed. We're not moved by any of the projections of the false idea of separation. And so this is a course in training our minds to accept more and more that this is true, and to let go of belief in the false idea of separation and all of its effects.
Okay.
That conceptually makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is. So he does say it's a very simple course. it's just pretty radical, because he's saying, well, none of this is true. A lot of spiritual teachings kind of make the illusion true, and they say, well, there's this double reality, and you have this, and that's kind of real, and then there's this, and you hold both in mind at the same time, and that's okay. And Jesus is saying, no, ultimately you can't do that. You have to choose between them, because they contradict each other entirely. And so this is a course in training your mind how to choose correctly, choose right, and let go of the wrong choice, which is the ego.
Yes.
Okay, all
That's
good.
why I walk around with no makeup on anymore, because I don't care. My
Yeah.
ego is getting squashed.
The body doesn't matter so much anymore. It's just a body.
Well, no, exactly. We're just a little.
Not a body, then why are you concerned about how the body looks?
Exactly. I just want to be healthy.
So it does change your perception of yourself. This radically changes who you believe you are. If you start accepting that I'm not human, I'm not physical, I'm not a body, I'm not a separate self. None of that's really true. So I reinterpret everything in my experience now from a different perspective, from the perspective of oneness, the Holy Spirit, as he calls it in this third paragraph. So any questions on number 2, or should we move on?
No. Yeah, move on.
Okay, so number 3, Sally Ann, do you want to read that for us?
I can't see it. It's too small. I can't read it.
Okay.
It's just
Can
on the
you?
phone.
Yeah.
We've just got it on my iPhone, so it's tiny.
Can you get it on your iPad?
I probably could, but I can't now. I can't. I'm too tired.
I can send you the link if you like.
But for me, it's like 2 hours of concentration. I can't cope with anymore.
Right. Okay. So you want to skip the reading? All right. So Iona, do you want to read number 3 for us?
When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the Holy Spirit sees it with perfect clarity. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. What can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees. The definition of reality is God's, not yours. He created it, and he knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten, and unless he had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. Alternatively,
Okay.
when you made visible what is not true, and what is true became invisible to you, yet it cannot, what is true became invisible to you. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the remembrance of oneness, or the remembrance of perfect love, sees it with perfect clarity.
So we translate Holy Spirit as remembrance of oneness, or perfect love, depending on the context, what we think's better. Happy with remembrance of oneness? Yeah.
It is invisible to you because you're looking at something else. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. What can be seen is what the remembrance of oneness sees. The definition of reality is pure formless awareness. It belongs to or it is of pure formless awareness, not yours. Love. Okay, the definition of reality is perfect love, not yours. It created it and it knows what it is. You
Created becomes extended.
extended it and it knows what it is.
And maybe we should have reality as capital. What do you think?
Referring to pure formless awareness. Yeah.
Definition of reality is perfect love is not yours. Because it's a capital R referring to the ultimate reality beyond form. Perfect love's not yours, okay?
It knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten, and unless it had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. Wow, that's powerful. So,
yeah, you want to give a little summary? Read it through from the top, just to make sure it's all good.
when you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. Yet it cannot be invisible in itself, for the remembrance of oneness sees it with perfect clarity. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is invisible than it is up to you to decide what reality is. Is that another capital R? No.
Up to you to decide. Where are we?
End of sentence 4.
Up to you to decide what reality is.
I don't think so.
No, because in that there's a split. It's like, well, it could be reality according to the Holy Spirit or
So,
the ego.
Yep. Yep.
But the definition of reality is perfect love. That's now, it must be, and we could leave that as small if you want.
No,
it kind of, but I think that sort of kind of works.
Yeah, it works for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It can be seen as what the remembrance of oneness sees. The definition of reality is perfect love's, not yours. It extended it, and it knows what it is. You who have forgotten, you who knew have forgotten, and unless it had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. So when my mind split, I made visible what is false, and the true reality became hidden from me. Yet it's always there, and remember, someone sees it always. But I'm looking elsewhere. But it's not up to me to decide what's visible and invisible. But I can choose where to look. I can believe in a false reality of separation and suffering, or I can look to the eternal reality, big R. Oh, it extended it.
And it's given you a way to remember. That last line is quite powerful, isn't it?
It's amazing because it's always been extended to me, but if I look the other way, it's invisible. But there's always something in me that remembers truly. So you have forgotten, unless it gives you, has given me a way to remember.
You would have condemned yourself to oblivion.
Yeah.
So if there's no way back, we would have gone, okay, well, we've thrown away pure formless awareness, we've thrown away God, love, oneness, and there's no way back. We've condemned ourselves forever to this oblivion of a false self and a false thought system and a false world.
Yes.
And there's no hope.
That misery of believing that you are somehow irretrievable.
Which is despair, really. I'm irretrievably, bad and evil and condemned, and this is the ego's belief, because it has to believe that, because that keeps the separate self going.
Yeah.
guilt and sin keep the separate self going. As soon as it's willing to consider, well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe I'm actually innocent and I'm holy and I'm pure formless awareness. Then there's no separate self anymore. The separate self disappears. So guilt and sin are underpin the separate identity named. Sin, acronym for sin. So the ego cannot do this, and it can only condemn you to despair in this hellish life, this helpless, enervated little life. Because if it starts to wake up to the truth, then it disappears. There's no separation anymore. The ego is just a belief in separation. So there's no belief anymore in separation. Then it's gone with all of its effects. And of course, it wants to continue in your mind. It has a kind of desire to exist, and your mind is host to it.
Yeah.
And so this is our challenge: is to get rid of, undo this belief in separation, and remember the truth. That's always been, but has been covered over by this false belief. Okay, does that does that resonate? Does it make sense? Yeah. Any questions, yes. Georgia and Sally-Ann?
No.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
Making sense to you? So if I asked you to summarize that paragraph, could you?
No.
Just a question. You want to have a go, Georgia? Could you summarize that paragraph? What's he saying?
When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. So you basically looked in the opposite direction and can't see what is true because you're looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
It cannot be invisible in itself, for the remembrance of oneness sees it. So you can see it if you choose to, but it has become invisible because you're looking at something else. You're directed elsewhere because you believe your, like you say, ego is your reality. So you're not looking at what is true. But it isn't up to you to decide what's visible and isn't visible, because it's not up to you what reality is. It's just reality is, isn't it? What can be seen is what the remembrance of one sees. So the definition of reality, the definition of
reality, perfect loves,
is not yours. It's extended and knows what it is. You who knew have forgotten, and unless it has given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. So basically, if you hadn't been enlightened in the sense there was that you were part of one, or at one with Source, then you were in abandonment, basically, because that's basically where we're split in the world now, because so many people don't understand that they're part of Source and that we are one consciousness or unconsciousness. We are one, because people do believe that they're separate, and that's why we've got all these stupid wars and situations going on, isn't it? Because people have
all problems are a result of a belief in separation. It's just very deeply entrenched. So it doesn't seem like it. It seems like, well, the war's happening, but it's a belief system behind it. Yeah. You don't go to war if you believe you won with your brothers. Well, because how can you attack them if you won with them? It's based on the belief, no, I'm separate from them.
Yeah. That's right. So by attacking your neighbor, you are attacking yourself, because you're all one.
Yeah.
What you're doing to anybody else is what you're actually doing to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be if we're all one. If you attack anyone, then the attack is on your own. You just think about what happens in any attack. You attack your own pure formless awareness.
Yes.
So that there's no more pure formless awareness anymore. It's you're feeling attack, you're feeling fear, you're feeling anger, you're feeling hatred, and all of that is not pure formless awareness, and it doesn't feel very good. So you
So
just
which is,
attacked your own self
yeah. So
identity and replaced it
going
with something
back
else.
to my situation yesterday, when I spoke to the people concerned, I said to them, "This is not your fault. This is not not personal. This is not to you. This is my situation." It was never any attack, was there?
No.
It wasn't. You've done this. You've done that. It was compassionate.
Yeah, well, that's the right way to deal with it. So you don't do nothing on the level of form. You know, although none of it's true and real, you seem to be living in this world, and there seem to be these situations that crop up. You know, because that's life and the illusion.
Well,
it's how you perceive them and how you deal with them that matters.
Well, exactly. And the man actually said to me, he said, "I can tell you're very calm and you're very," what did he say? Well, you're very, very complimentary.
He was.
Because of the way I dealt with it. But I think, because we are living in this world, we have to be here out of choice or otherwise. Well, we are here from choice, but you can't roll over and not live the life that we're here, so you can't sort of not take part in life, because we are at one. We can't just sit here and be well, I suppose we could if we were Buddha.
Well, I'm sort of understanding, Jonathan, you didn't really want to have to wait 3 years and 3 months, but that's been your journey.
For your visa.
Yeah, so you surrender to it, because what we do is we think we know. We think we know better. We think we know this is how it should be. So we have all kinds of expectations.
Yes.
But do we really know? Do you really know what's for your highest good?
No, because there's a very good reason why you didn't get your visa, and obviously it's your course, but at the time it doesn't seem, it's not what you consciously want, but it is surrendering to the fact that, my husband left 5 years ago, and the reason, I either find it out or I don't, but my acceptance of it is that a better life is to follow, because my spiritual journeys evolve so much more quickly and effectively, and I'm at a lot more peace than I was when I was married to him. And I'm trusting that life will be absolutely, wonderful, because I'm setting that attention and raising my vibration and being, if you like, I'm vastly more, not that I've ever been totally uncompassionate, but I'm vastly more compassionate to the people that wronged me, if you like, because it doesn't matter anymore. Because as we say, they are me, except they just don't realize it. And as a consequence of me letting go of all of the unpleasantness that's gone on in my neighborhood, because my ex-husband was unkind, he was a narcissist, their behavior's changed entirely, because they can't fire anything bad, because there's nothing bad to fire at. So it's playing out, but so I understand exactly. I mean, I'm obviously probably more to learn, but I'm on that wavelength, certainly.
Yeah, so although you haven't studied A Course in Miracles, you don't have to study A Course in Miracles to learn how to let go, because that's all you're doing, really. It's letting go of negative thoughts and emotions that really don't serve you, and just coming into present moment awareness and being okay in that awareness.
Well, I've done 18 years of letting go with an energy mentor anyway. So, I mean, that's his mantra, was I let go. I had it plastered all over my house for years.
Well, there you go. So you've actually been doing A Course in Miracles for 18 years then.
Yes,
because that's really all it's about. It's saying, you're going to let go completely of the dream. So any attachments, any of this stuff, because it's ultimately not true, you must let it go in your mind and free your mind.
Yeah. I mean, in
And,
actual fact, even in the last 2 years, and that's why I personally feel the what is going on in the world, or has been going on in the world for 2 years, has been very beneficial for many, and it's been beneficial for me because I had the separation of me. My ego was afraid of being on my own, and I felt I had a bubble, but I really felt a strong desire, need, or whatever, to have a partner, and I have let it all go to the point that I don't even have time for a partner. And
You found yourself.
and I found myself. So although ideally, eventually I'd like to meet a new husband or life partner, my life's too happy and busy without them because I don't need it. So I let it all go and surrendered to being me and finding myself. And I'm even struggling to keep up with myself sometimes. But so the principles, it makes sense.
And if you don't need someone, that's the right place to come from.
Exactly.
Neediness is not love. It's
exactly.
I need you. Right. So now we're going to have a codependent, kind of clingy relationship with all kinds
and now
of
I'm fending them
dysfunction.
I don't. Yeah, I so don't need them that I don't want them almost, but I do. But I, I'm very much. You have to be the right wavelength. So we have to be aligned. And I think we're now attracting aligned people because of our growth and our understanding of what's true. And unfortunately, the people we're leaving people behind because our vibrations are firing at different frequencies, and letting go of all of that's been quite difficult. But accepting that that's the way it is, because our journeys are different, and we can't all learn. We can't all learn the same things. We're not open to learning. Some people are simply not open to learning or wanting to learn. Because the ego is so powerful.
So you move into a different frequency, and sometimes that means you let go of old relationships.
Yeah, have had to.
But
with love and compassion and thanks.
Yeah. So not everything on the level of form, remains. In fact, everything here is pretty impermanent. But if you're aware that actually you still one with that person, although on this level of form you're not necessarily seeing them or relating to them anymore, then it's fine. There's no problem.
Yeah.
There's
so
no attachment to it.
Accepting that we have different journeys, and our journey on that path has come to an end, and we were it's time to move apart, but with acceptance, love, grace, and dignity, and no ill will. Because actually ultimately that's what we would be sending to ourselves, isn't it, if we were too resentful?
It's kind of self-evident, because if you have a resentful, angry thought, who's feeling the anger? You are. Who's feeling the resentment? You are. So it denies the truth of your being. And you're in another state of mind that's not very happy. So
well, I have
self-attack.
An example that when I went traveling, was it 2003? My father has a very strong ego, and was very judgmental. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I was angry and upset with him, and I was sitting on an idyllic beach in Fiji feeling this resentment, and I decided, why am I feeling this resentment? Because he doesn't know that I'm feeling this resentment. I'm the one that's suffering. Why am I suffering? because it's having no impact on him whatsoever. So I forgave him and let it all go. And unfortunately, I told him I forgave him, and he did it all over again, and he hurt me again. So I didn't learn the lesson well enough to let it go completely the second time, but I've learned it now. But I absolutely understand that principle. And I remember thinking, he's not suffering. It's only me that's feeling this. So time to say goodbye.
You do. Yeah, you do. So the person who's suffering when you're angry and resentful is you.
Yes.
Because you've got that energy in you, and it's not a nice energy. So you can
have
be wherever. You can be on the, as you said, you're on a beach in Fiji, like lovely, and it's like, but I'm unhappy because my inner state is unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. So my dog is now kicking off because she wants to go to bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a positive bedtime.
She's crying now.
Oh, really?
No, you can hear now.
I can hear, yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Okay.
She wants to go to bed.
Yeah, well, if you need to go, that's absolutely fine. It's up to you. We've still got a few paragraphs to do, but
yeah, I think that this is going to be a bit invasive for everybody else. I apologise.
Well, we can put you on mute while we.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll go on mute.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we? Number 4. Because of your father's love. Where's Iona? Is she coming back, Kenneth?
She's here.
She's here. Okay. Let's crack on with it, shall we? So number 4, just maybe read it directly, and then we'll just.
We're going to have to go because she's kicking off too much. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
okay. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed that. Gave you a little taste of what we do.
Okay.
In these sessions, and as I said, you're most welcome to join on a 3-week free trial.
Thank you.
So think about that when you're ready and you think you can make good use of it.
Okay.
That gives you access to all these sessions. There's 8 sessions a week.
Okay.
As well as the WhatsApp group, which is a different WhatsApp group from what you're on. Gives you a bit more content. I send all the recordings of all these sessions to the WhatsApp group, so you can listen to all of that. So if and when you want to do it, just give me a buzz or text message or whatever. And I might see you in Buckinghamshire soon. I'll let you know what the plans are, and maybe I can swing by then and we can do a talk or something.
Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you all. Bye-bye. Okay. Thank you.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye for now. Okay, so sorry, that took quite a while, but I guess it's all good. They're interested, so take a bit of time to get them into kind of diving in the deep end a little bit. So let's read and translate as we go, shall we?
Okay, because of Source's love, you can never forget it.
Yeah.
For no one can forget what perfect love itself placed in its memory, in his memory. Itself placed.
You can never forget it, for no one can forget. Placed in his or her. You go for her.
Okay, good. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. A voice will answer every question you ask, and a vision will correct a perception of everything you see.
I wonder if we should put it there and deny it.
Yes.
That's referring to pure formless awareness, really. No one can forget what pure formless of awareness of perfect love itself placed in her memory. You can deny it because it's actually referring to presence.
Yeah.
Well, why
Yeah.
not? You can deny this. How about this presence?
But you cannot lose
That's
it.
nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's better than it, I think.
There's a lot of it's going on.
Yeah,
Avoid
and then that,
will answer every question you ask, and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth, and what you have not heard is the only answer. Why has answer got a capital A and truth has got a small t?
yeah, interesting. Capitalization in the course is quite random sometimes.
Yeah.
What you have made invisible is the only truth. So they never capitalize truth, but we could if you want.
It just was brought
Kind
to
of,
my attention because it's in the same sentence there.
yeah.
Yeah.
What you have not heard is the only answer. So he's referring to the same thing,
Yeah.
but the one's capitalized and the other's not. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
work that one out. I'm not quite sure why. It's the only truth, and what you have heard, what you have not heard, is the only answer.
Yeah. Right.
Interesting. A voice will answer every question. It's a
Yeah.
voice and answer,
Oh
but
yeah.
vision and so why is vision then not capitalized? Because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The voice will answer every question, and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see.
Mhm.
No, like you got to surely you should be consistent with the capitalization.
So voice, vision, truth, and answer.
All capitalized because they're all pointing to the same thing.
Yeah.
That would seem to make sense, I would say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be confusing. People go, "Well, why is that?" It's interesting when you read it like this, like we translating it, because then you notice these discrepancies, don't you? You go, "Oh, hang on, like
Exactly.
why?" Like, and then here earlier, in this sentence, it was what God Himself placed in His memory. You can deny it. Okay, so you're talking about why is that small and not capital then?
Yeah.
If you're talking about what God Himself placed in His memory, this is truth.
Yeah.
And surely, anything referring to truth must be capitalized.
Yeah.
But you cannot lose it. So, I think when they did this editing, the capitalization got a bit lost. I mean, imagine doing this whole thing. Wow, it must have been a serious task.
Oh, huge.
I think they must have spent days and weeks and weeks, months and months editing this.
Yeah.
Going through this, just like we're doing, and going, okay, so, and you can imagine concentration spans and like, okay, we're getting tired now. It's like,
yeah,
because it was Ken Wapnick and Helen Schuckman did it.
Yeah.
I think mostly they did the first editing.
Okay.
Okay, so what you've not heard is the only answer.
And then pure formless awareness of perfect love would reunite you with yourself.
So in some ways, this is like going back to the beginning, isn't it? doing what they did 50 years ago, like actually editing it.
And
I think it's quite nice.
And did not abandon you in your distress. You are waiting only for him, it, perfect love, and do not know it.
Should we say it or?
Yeah, that's okay.
Only.
We've had pure formless awareness in the previous sentence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do not know it. Yet its memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated.
And then that should be capitalized.
Yeah.
Do not know it. Well, it's referring to the same. So look at that. You got a capital it. You are waiting only for it.
And yet do not know.
Was that my change? Anyway, and do not. You are waiting only for him and do not know it.
But is it referring to the fact that I don't know that I'm waiting?
You do not know the answer, maybe he's referring to. Pure formless would reunite you with yourself and not abandon you in your distress. And I think that should be capitalized. How about that?
Yes, I agree with that. And do
Your
not abandon
capital thought.
yeah.
Do not abandon you in your distress. You're waiting only for it, pure formless awareness of perfect love, and do not know it.
I think that should be small case I on the second one because
Right.
because
Do not
I
know it. You do not know that you're waiting only for it. That's what he's
said.
referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe instead of it, do not know this.
Yeah, that's
How
better.
about that?
That's better.
Because it's more, otherwise you get confused as well. Is he referring to it as the presence, or and do not know this? Okay, happy with that?
Yeah. Yes,
Yet.
its memory shines at your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is no more past than future, being forever always.
Being forever always. Nice.
I'll read that through.
Yes.
Because
Do
of
that.
versus love, you can never forget it. For no one can forget what pure formless awareness of perfect love itself placed in her memory. You can deny this presence, but you cannot lose it. A voice will answer every question you ask, and a vision will correct the perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth, and what you have not heard is the only answer. Pure formless awareness of perfect love would reunite you with yourself and did not abandon you in your distress. You are waiting only for it and do not know this, yet its memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is no more past and future, being forever always. That's
I think that reads quite well.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. I'll give a little summary of that.
Sources love, you can never forget. Well, deny as I might, the presence of perfect love is forever with me. Yeah. I was never.
It did not abandon you. No, we abandoned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem. We abandoned it. It didn't abandon us. It was our decision that did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was interesting what popped up with Georgia was she was saying, well, I don't know why I'm here. You know, I got sent here. But that cannot be the case. No one sent you here. You came here by your decision.
Yeah.
Your decision to abandon love was the reason why you came here.
So I don't know that I am waiting to be reunited with myself in pure formless awareness of perfect love. Yeah, it's quite tragic, really.
Yeah, it's you know, you can only. I remember when I had my little enlightenment mystic experience at the retreat.
Yeah.
Almost a year ago now, actually. Wow, time's flown.
Yeah.
And although it was beautiful, I mean, it was like just open, expansive, and just like, wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I came out of it, and then I saw very clearly that, you know, I've covered this over. I've denied this. It's my choice to try and cover it over and make this crazy world where nothing really makes sense. And, you know, I've been struggling my whole life to try and make sense of it. And it doesn't make sense. And I cried. It was so sad. I was like, that's just so, why would we take this pristine, pure formless awareness and invent all this rubbish to cover it over and invent a whole world to now justify that? The whole thing was just so obviously tragic. I couldn't help but, you know, weep because it was just, oh my God, what have I done? That's just so, And not just me, the whole human race. We've all done it. And now we seem to be bereft and that we don't know ourselves, and we're trying to figure out this crazy place and make it work. And yet, this awareness is always there. We just covered it over and we forgot about it.
We covered it over, and what I get from this passage is steadfastly looking in the wrong direction. Steadfastly looking at all the idols that the ego throws up as the one to look up and fasten upon. And all the cars and all the wealth and all the
whatever. The whole world is the covering. What I saw so clearly was it's a projection of the mind, and the only point of it is to convince me that all of these thoughts, the fear and the anger and frustration and whatever the negative thought is, that all of that is actually true, because it justifies that, because that then covers over the pure formless awareness, and it now seems to be justified, and this seems to be the new reality. And that's the evil genius of the ego. That's what it's done. It's projected it out of a false, from a false self and a false identity, and convinced us that this is all true, and that the fear and the anger and the hatred and whatever else it's invented are true and justified because of what we see, because of this world we've invented. And that's what it is. That's why it's the veil. Like that experientially, I really got the use of the term veil, because it's a veil that's covered it over. It's covered over pure formless awareness. And now you can't see it through the veil of your misperceptions. And the world is part of the veil, because the world stimulates the perceptions that then seem to cover over the true awareness. It's all just sometimes you go like, really? Is that really true? But what other explanation is there for it?
Well,
there's no other explanation really.
You have to. So we've done that. We've done a little interpretation.
Yeah, you're happy to move on to number 5.
You have but to ask for this memory, and you will remember. Great. Yet the memory of pure formless awareness of perfect love cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated it and wants to keep it so. Do you understand obliterate?
No.
Oh, it means just completely remove, wipe out. Yeah, like an avalanche, obliterating. Yeah. For the memory of perfect love can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember, and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. You who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe. But look upon what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. What am I rejoicing about? That I relinquished you who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe, but perceive what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. What, rejoice that I have failed to control reality? Yes.
Yeah, what you've made of this crazy world. You cannot, should hardly aspire to control the universe. So you perceive what you have made of it. Talking about the universe, that might need some translation. Come back to that. And rejoice that it is not so. So we go, this is a mess. It's a basket case. It's a mess, and it doesn't work.
Right.
And I can rejoice that it's not so. Actually, it's all false.
Yeah.
And I can drop all of it.
Okay.
I'm not bound by all of my mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The universe is an interest. He uses it occasionally, and he actually uses it in the sense of the true reality. It's a pointer to true reality.
Okay.
Let's go to our definitions. Glossary of terms. So we had this the other day. I don't know if you were in the session, but universe. He doesn't mean the physical universe. He actually refers to infinite eternal reality beyond time and space, not the illusion of a physical universe based on the idea of separation. And then there's a reference there. We did it in one of the sections of chapter 11, section 1, chapter 11. To control the universe, we could change it, or we could, I think, how about that? Control reality?
Yeah. It refers
Does
neatly
that make it clearer?
Yeah.
Receive what you have made of it and rejoice that it is not so. Maybe we make that a small r, I don't know. Control reality. Small r, I think. Because in our desire to control it, we perceive it as not big R. We're not seeing the big R. We're trying to control reality as we perceive it. So
Yes.
Small R, I think. I think that's better than universe, because that universe thing gets very. I don't know. People think he's referring to the physical universe. Reality is more like, you want to control your reality. Hardly aspire to control reality, perceive what you've made of it. Well, I know. I get what he's trying to do here. It's kind of a hyperbole, isn't it? It's hardly desire to control the universe. It's saying, well, you think you're trying to control. I think maybe he's poking fun at this idea of, I'm going to manifest the secret type. Okay, well, you can, the universe is going to work for you, and you can control the universe. And he's saying, well, you can hardly control yourself. Should hardly aspire to control the universe. So should we leave it as universe? What do you think?
Let me read it through. You have but to ask for this memory, and you will remember. Yet the memory of perfect love cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated it and wants to keep it so. The memory of perfect love. Oh.
Sorry, I just need to send my wife a message because she's trying to call me. I'm just going to tell her I'm not quite finished. Okay. There we go.
Yet the memory of perfect love cannot shine in a mind that has obliterated and wants to keep it so. For the memory of perfect love can dawn only in a mind that chooses to remember and that has relinquished the insane desire to control reality. You who cannot even control yourself should hardly aspire to control the universe. Right. I think that's okay because we've had control reality in sentence 3.
Yeah. So should we make it control the universe?
Yeah, I think so. And perceive what you have made of it and rejoice that I have not been able to control reality big R. And it's always there, should I choose to remember.
Rejoice that it is not so. Should we leave it as it is not so?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you've done a little summary there. Happy with that?
Yep, that's good. The madness is false. Yes. Son of God. Extension of perfect love. Be not content with nothing. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. Perfect love could not offer its extension what has no value, nor could its extension receive it.
Should we say pure? Nor could its
Extension receive it. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted it. Everything you made has never been and is invisible because the remembrance of oneness does not see it. Yet what it does see is yours to behold. And through its, what's the other word for vision? Awareness, your perception is healed.
through its vision. A comma through its vision, and through its vision, yeah, I think that needs a comma. Your perception is healed.
You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. Valuing nothing, you have sought nothing. By making nothing real to you, you have seen it. But it is not there, and oneness, the one self is invisible to you because of what you have made visible to yourself. Well, that's telling me straight.
Yeah. He doesn't pull his punches.
No. You know, he's really saying, wake up, don't be content with this nothingness. But it was never offered to me because pure formless awareness of perfect love could never offer its extension.
No, so the idea that I'm sent somewhere is crazy. No one sent you anywhere. You're only here because of your own decision, which we've forgotten.
Yeah,
we've forgotten that we decided yes, we did want a separate identity, and that's what kicked the whole thing off. And so it's just remembering, saying no, you don't really, given the consequences of that choice, which you can see are evident in the world and in your life experience. Do you want to keep choosing that, or will you change your mind? Okay, so you want to read number 6 on the top?
Extension of perfect love, be not content with nothing. What is not real cannot be seen and has no value. Pure formless awareness of perfect love could not offer its extension what has no value, nor could its extension receive it. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted it. Everything you made has never been and is invisible because the remembrance of oneness does not see it. Yet what it does see is yours to behold, and through its vision your perception is healed. You have made invisible the only truth that this world holds. Valuing nothing, you have sought nothing. By making nothing real to you, you have seen it, but it is not there. Wow. And your one self is invisible to you because of what you have made visible to yourself. So I've shrouded myself in such darkness, such a belief in such separation. I've separated myself out so much that my true self, one self, is invisible.
Yeah. And you were redeemed. What I like about this, you were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted it.
Yes, the instant, the impact of the grief hits me. Yeah.
The instant you separated, you had this thought of tiny mad idea of separation.
All right.
You were redeemed because there's the reinterpretation straight away. The Holy Spirit comes into being straight away and says, no, just remember the truth.
Yeah. Ah, that's what it's about. You were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted it. So the instant I jaunted off as a separate being, the one self comes in and says,
Yeah, he says the Holy Spirit came into being at the time of the separation, at the same time as the thought of separation.
right.
Because it's a remembrance. You choose to forget, then the remembrance must be there straight away.
So it's an instant reinterpretation.
Yeah. And if we just listened to the Holy Spirit's reinterpretation of that tiny mad idea, none of this would have happened. In truth, it didn't really happen, but it seemed to happen because we believed the ego. That was the problem.
Yes.
Instead of going, no, that's just a crazy idea. This has no this has no validity. It's just a crazy tiny mad idea. And let it go.
Okay.
And then there would have been no, but because we desired it, we wanted the thoughts of separation. We desired it. We wanted to believe in it. That gave it its power.
Mm-hmm.
And then we invented a whole world based on it.
Okay.
Now we have to undo it. Sadly, it's not easy
Oh my
because
God.
we've really we've seriously believed this. You really have to have believed an idea to have made up this world that we've invented.
Yeah. It suddenly got incredibly hot in here.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So happy with that. Redeemed, we could change, but we could keep it. What do you think? You were redeemed the instant you thought.
Well, what's the alternative? I like redeemed.
Oh, you were awakened the instant you thought you had deserted it, but I think redeemed kind of works there.
Yeah. Good.
And redeemed works there. So happy with number 6?
I am.
Okay, number 7.
Yet it does not matter how much distance you have tried to interpose between your awareness and truth. Extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love can be seen because her vision is shared. The awareness of oneness looks upon her and sees nothing else in you.
I'm going to say its vision.
Okay.
Because it's interesting. I mean, there again is a capitalization. It was the Son of God, capital, but then his becomes small.
Yeah.
It was referring to the Son, who's capitalized. So,
Okay.
extent to be consistent, you should really capitalize it. Can be seen because its vision is shared.
The remembrance of oneness looks upon her and sees nothing else in you. What is invisible to you is perfect in his sight, in its sight.
Do you want to translate him as it? Remembrance of oneness looks upon it and sees nothing else in you. Because referring to this extension, you read the original, it's the Son of God. God's Son can be seen because his vision is shared. Holy Spirit looks upon him, in other words, God's Son,
Yeah.
which is capitalized there, but becomes a small h there.
Okay.
and sees nothing else in you. So actually the Holy Spirit, awareness of oneness, remembrance of oneness, looks upon the extension, the extension of perfect love, which is your true nature, and sees nothing else. There's actually no personal self in there at all.
Okay.
See, so why make it small then?
Yeah.
Looks upon him, referring to God's Son, which is capitalized in the previous sentence. So I think to be consistent, you've got to go, looks upon it, the extension, which is holy by definition, because it's the extension of perfect love. It's capitalized.
Yes, okay.
And sees nothing else in you. So it only sees that presence, which is not him. That presence is not a him, it's an it.
What is invisible to you is perfect in its sight and encompasses all of it.
I think he's here referring to the Holy Spirit. So we need to just maybe put in is perfect in perfect loves, sight. How about vision?
I was
I
just
like that.
reaching for vision.
Because we had vision here. Remember, we capitalized. Where did we capitalize vision? Somewhere.
Same sentence as awareness and truth. And
No. Moments of perfect love's vision. Encompasses all of it.
it has remembered you because it forgot not the source, not its source.
I think we can change that because it forgot not, because it did not forget is much better. What do you think?
It has
Did not forget.
Did not forget the source. Good.
Rather than forgot not the source. It's much simpler.
You looked upon the unreal and found despair. Yet by seeking the unreal, what else could you find? The unreal world is a thing of despair, for it can never be. And you who share pure formless awareness of perfect love's being with it could never be content with that reality.
No, we'll just keep it as perfect loves.
Being with it,
And that maybe should be a capital, right?
could never be content with that reality, sure. What perfect love did not give you has no power over you. Did not give you has no power over you, and the attraction of love for love remains irresistible. Should that not be the second love with a capital L?
Yeah, he doesn't tend to capitalize love, but it's actually referring to the same thing. So this is again, why not capitalize it when you're talking about the same presence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your form of someone is a perfect love did not give you, is no power of you, and the attraction of love for love. So that's the Son and its extension. I mean, the God and his extension, love for love.
Aha, got it.
It's the same. It's the same, just a different language.
For it is
Love
a
for love remains irresistible.
yeah, it's a function of love.
Function of love, capital, definitely capital. Why small?
To
I know.
unite all things unto itself and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness. Okay, shall I read through?
I think so, yeah.
Yet it does not matter how much distance you have tried to interpose between your awareness and truth. The extension of perfect love can be seen because its vision is shared. The remembrance of oneness looks upon it and sees nothing else in you. What is invisible to you is perfect in the remembrance of perfect love's vision and encompasses all of it. It has remembered you because it did not forget the source. You looked upon the unreal and found despair, yet by seeking the unreal, what else could you find? The unreal world is a thing of despair, for it can never be. And you who share perfect love's being with it could never be content without reality. What pure formless awareness of perfect love did not give you has no power over you, and the attraction of love for love remains irresistible. For it is the function of love to unite all things unto itself and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you want to give a little summary of that?
Love is one and indivisible. You looked upon the I forgot source, but pure formless awareness as an extension of perfect love can be seen because its vision is shared. The extension for hang on, let me see if I can get my thinking around this. Despite my best efforts to obliterate truth, remembrance of oneness sees nothing else but shared vision, shared love. My mistakes.
We've got vision going on there. Should we make that a capital?
Yeah.
To be I just got to make it small or little, but then you see how the consistency goes, because then you go back here and then you go, well, you've got vision with a capital because the answer was a capital. Where were we? A voice and a vision. So we capitalized it there because of the voice capitalized. So why isn't vision capitalized there?
Okay, we'll go for caps.
Maybe it's because the vision is what's seen. Maybe it
Yeah.
refers to the perception rather than the I don't know. Vision will correct the perception of everything you see. A vision. The only answer, truth. Maybe this is why that's so. The vision, if you look at it, the voice is referring to the thing, to the entity, like the Holy Spirit. The vision is the product of that entity. Its vision will correct the perception.
John, I'm beginning to lose the thread a little bit. It's late.
Okay. So we'll just be consistent. Let's correct that, and we'll change it here, and then we'll got one more paragraph. So we're nearly there. If you can persevere through one paragraph. Vision, and that's vision. Okay. Okay, so happy with number 7? Did you do a summary? I think you did.
Well, I was starting to, yeah. I think it's just, share perfect love's being, and I'll be caught up in that irresistible attraction of love for love.
It's a nice image, that.
Yeah, it is.
Remains irresistible. So this is the deepest core. Anything else is secondary.
Everything else is
Action of love for love remains irresistible. And if we resist it, it creates an enormous amount of stress in us if we resist this call.
Yes.
Because it's an irresistible power that's calling you, and then you try and resist the irresistible. Well, it's not going to go well, is it?
The real world was given you by pure formless awareness.
Yeah. Let me just copy this to speed things up. Sorry. Yeah, you want to continue?
In loving exchange for the world you made and the world you see, only take it from the hand of the oneself and look upon it. Its reality will make everything else invisible, for beholding it is total perception. Right. Yeah. It's reality, capital R.
I don't know, because he's referring to the real world. So that's the world that's reinterpreted. He's still talking about world in this, you still got perception going on, but it's just reinterpreted from the perspective of oneness. So I think we should keep it as a small. It's reality, referring to the real world. Will make everything else invisible. For beholding it is total perception. So I was like, this is a corrected perception. He's talking about you see only the real world.
Yes.
And nothing else.
And as you look upon it, you will remember that it was always so. Nothingness will become invisible, for you will at last have seen truly. Redeemed perception is easily translated into knowledge, for only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been. Being corrected, it gives place to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The at-one-ment is but the way back to what was never lost. Your source could not cease to love its extension.
So that should be capital R, definitely.
Yeah.
Because he's referring to knowledge.
Yeah.
It's beyond the real world. Being corrected, comma, I think that means comma. It gives way to knowledge. How about gives way instead of gives place? Gives way to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The way back to what was never lost. Your source could not cease to love its extension. Maybe, how about, because of the title of the chapter is Perfect Love, perfect, the attraction of love for love.
Yeah.
Perfect love could not cease to love its extension.
Yeah.
Or even itself. How about that?
I like that.
Like it? Perfect love could not cease to love itself.
Okay. Real world was given you by pure formless awareness of perfect love, in loving exchange for the world you made and the world you see. Only take it from the hand of your true self and look upon it. Its reality will make everything else invisible, for beholding it is total perception. And as you look upon it, you will remember that it was always so.
We say
Nothing.
perceiving it. Perceiving it.
Okay.
Perceiving it is instead of beholding it.
Yeah, got it. Nothingness will become invisible, for you will at last have seen truly. Redeemed perception is easily translated into knowledge. Well, we kept redeemed before, so I think it's fine to keep it there.
Yeah.
For only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been.
Or we could make it corrected perception. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it is reinterpreted. It is miracle thinking, so corrected. Okay. I don't think so, thanks. Being corrected, for only perception is capable of error, and perception has never been. Being corrected, it gives way to knowledge, which is forever the only reality. The at-one-ment is but the way back to what was never lost. Perfect love could not cease to love itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice way to end it. Your father could not cease to love his son. Perfect love could not cease to love itself.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
neat.
that's
Lovely.
yeah. You could maybe even itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
That works
What
too.
do you think? We'll make it
I think one word.
one word. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Kind of works.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So any thoughts on that last paragraph?
Yeah.
That's from yesterday. So, thank goodness we don't have another 5 to go.
My goodness. I would have to stop now.
Do you want to go for a personalized executive summary?
Well,
You're too tight.
Offer love and love will come to me.
Well, what did he start with? He said, well, what you've done is you've denied it. You've made it invisible to yourself. So maybe we should say we've made
So we've made love invisible to ourselves.
Invisible to ourselves by denying it and inventing an external world to cover over awareness of love. But love remains in our memory and can be remembered if we choose to. Can be remembered if we choose to remember.
If we choose to remember. But I think he talks very much about not being abandoned. You know, we were never abandoned.
Yeah. Made out love invisible to ourselves by denying it.
But
And
this sentence, you were redeemed the instant you thought you had deserted him.
Yeah, you like that?
Well, I do, because it seems to me something that I've got to take on board. It's the instant I made the wrong choice. That was the instant that wrong choice was reinterpreted for love.
Yeah.
And it has never gone away.
Yeah, and so every time you're tempted by the ego, you relive that choice. You know, am I going to accept the correction now, or am I going to make the same mistake as I made then and I've continued to make?
Yeah.
So in every moment, it's like it's the moment of that choice, which led to the whole denial of truth and the separation and the Big Bang. You're making that choice every time you choose. It's quite profound, really.
It is, exactly.
Like I'm making the same choice again.
Yeah.
Okay, I chose separation, and I'm choosing it again. I'm making the same mistake again.
Yeah.
So let me remember, wake up. Let me not make the same mistake again, and rather accept that correction is here now.
Yeah.
Now I may have made the wrong choice many times, but that doesn't matter because I come back to the same choice.
That's right.
And in fact, make the right choice from now. All of the wrong choices are undone. In the end, those don't matter at all. All I've got to do is make the right choice now.
Yeah.
We choose to remember. So maybe I'll only say something like we were redeemed from separation. We were freed from separation.
Instant we thought we had deserted perfect love.
No. Well, that's apparent effects. The instant we thought we'd separated from it. Only is to accept the correction or our perception. Moment by moment, which is how the attraction of love for itself can work miracles in my life. Something like that.
Right. So we've
You want to read that?
The key message of this section of the text is that we have made love invisible to ourselves by denying it and believing and inventing an external world to cover our awareness of love. But love remains in our memory and can be remembered if we choose to remember. We were freed from the idea of separation and all its apparent effects the instant we thought we'd separated from it, and our only task is to accept the correction of our perception moment by moment, which is how the attraction of love for itself can work miracles in my life. Very good.
No, and this is actually I have made, so personalized. I have made invisible to myself, because it's about making it personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
By denying it, inventing it to cover over my awareness.
Love's remains my memory.
Love remains in my memory and can be remembered if I choose to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Choose to remember it. I was freed from the idea.
Separation.
Also, apparent effects. The instant I thought I'd separated, instant I thought I'd separated from love,
And my only task.
Now my only task is to accept the correction of my perception moment by moment. Correction of my perception by love, moment by moment, which is how the attraction of love for itself can work miracles. Can, when I use miracles, can correct my perception and heal my mind, something like that.
Okay. Okay, good.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I am happy with that for tonight. I gotta go. It's very
You're like, time out. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Thanks for
All right,
staying.
Jono.
It was a longer session than usual because we had maybe, but we'll see. Hopefully they decide to take the plunge and join us on the journey, and maybe they'll join us for the retreat.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
are you going to join tomorrow?
I've offered to hold